The Trojan horse, a massive wooden structure in the shape of a horse, was left outside the city of Troy by the Greeks after their 10-year siege. According to Homer's Iliad, it was an offering to the goddess Athena, but really, it was a trick. That's because the Greek army had hidden inside the horse and they came out at night and they slaughtered the Trojans who were celebrating their victory over the Greeks. And that's how the Greeks ultimately won the war. And since then, the Trojan horse has become a symbol of deception used across cultures and throughout history to represent any trick that results in the downfall of a trusting victim. So now let's look at some ways that the Trojan horse still lives on today. In literature and film, the Trojan horse continues to be used as a metaphor for hidden danger. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, for example, the king's new wife uses the story of the Trojan horse to warn her son about the deceptive nature of women. Likewise, in modern times, the 2004 movie Troy features scenes directly depicting the building and infiltration of the Trojan horse. And just last year, Netflix released the series The Lincoln Lawyer, where a character warns another about shaking hands with their client, because he might just be a Trojan horse. But perhaps the most famous use of the Trojan horse in literature comes from the 1890s, when author Morgan Robertson wrote The Wreck of the Titan. The story follows the sinking of a massive ship called the Titan, which is warned about by an old sailor named Mr. Holly. When the Titan sets sail for New York, it seems like the perfect embodiment of human ingenuity and excellence. But this couldn't be further from the truth, as the ship was actually rotten and poorly made. And as soon as a storm hits, the ship begins to fall apart. Just like the Trojans, who thought they had defeated the Greeks only to have their city destroyed, the passengers on board the Titan think they're safe from the storm, but the ship quickly begins to crack and eventually sinks, taking the lives of everyone on board. In the end, not even the captain's daughter, who was known for her beauty and elegance, could escape the fate of the ship. And so the Titan becomes the first modern retelling of the Trojan horse, where the danger is unobvious and the victory turns into defeat. In reality, there are many instances of the Trojan horse being used in espionage. For example, during the Cold War, American spies would often hide inside large crates or barrels and then infiltrate enemy territory. Similarly, there are many instances of enemy soldiers disguising themselves as civilians in order to get close to their target. In fact, even today, the threat of hidden enemies remains a common fear in war-torn countries. Even though the Trojan horse is an ancient story, it continues to be relevant in our modern world. The story teaches us to always be on guard and never trust our enemies, no matter how much they may seem to want to help us. It also shows us the importance of being cautious of appearances, because sometimes what seems to be a blessing can actually be a curse. Finally, the Trojan horse reminds us that even the most powerful and mighty can be brought down by their own hubris and overconfidence. As long as humans continue to possess these traits, the lessons of the Trojan horse will continue to be relevant. So, do you know any other examples of the Trojan horse in pop culture? Let me know in the comments below.